Hi. Need help finding a dependable used car?
Yeah, I'm worried about things like flood damage.
Oh, our team doesn't keep quiet about those cars.
Frank the Carfax found an SUV here.
Here's a sports sedan. I'll get the VIN number.
Oh, there's a convertible. Avoid that one.
Largemouth bass. They get the word out. Only one site has a free Carfax report for every car listed.
That's it.
Start shopping at the new Carfax.com.
When it comes to reasonably priced midsize sedans, the 2014 Volkswagen CC stands alone. No other car in this class turns heads like Volkswagen's Foxy four-door. Here are 5 reasons why the 2014 CC gets straight A's. Number 1, unique styling. It may be based on the stoic Passat, but the CC has been nipped and tucked into a genuinely attractive car. It's hard to believe that something based on a family sedan could attract this much attention. For fashionable four-door transportation with a trunk, there's the CC, and then there's everything else. Number 2, excellent engines. The CC standard engine is Volkswagen's excellent 2.0T that's rated at a healthy 200 horsepower. It's all the motor most drivers will ever need, and it gets 32 miles per gallon on the highway too. But if you want more, the CC's optional 280 horsepower V6 packs a serious punch. Paired with the exclusive 4Motion all-wheel drive, the CC V6 gives genuine sports sedans a run for their money. Number 3, surprisingly spacious seating. You might think the CC's styling wouldn't leave room for actual humans inside, but prepare to be pleasantly surprised. Although rear headroom can be a little tight, there's plenty of room for most adults to ride all day in comfort. Number 4, plentiful standard features. Standard features include bi-xenon headlights with LED accents, heated seats, and dual-zone automatic climate control, while higher trims get perks like leather upholstery and touchscreen navigation. Number 5, sport and comfort in equal measure. Volkswagen's engineers are among the best at finding that perfect suspension calibration, and the CC is Exhibit A. It's never harsh, even with the big 18-inch alloy wheels, but it's firm enough to take corners with confidence. We wouldn't change a thing. As good as the CC looks, it might be even better to drive. Throw in generous features and real-world usability, and you've got one of the most appealing sedans on the market.
How much should a typical AC overhaul go for?
$200?
Oh, no. Stanley, that's an easy 18 hundo with parts and labor. Okay, we've also had to do a total engine replacement. So, how much would you expect to pay for the transmission, the AC, and the unexpected engine replacement? And do you dare to repair?
$0, Sip.
What, are you messing with me, kid?
No.
What?
I have Endurance. I never have to worry about my repair costs. Endurance Warranty Services covers just about everything. Seriously.
Get Endurance Warranty Services, and you could save thousands of dollars.
The Volkswagen Passat is the only European family sedan sold here in the United States, but it's not as European as you might think. It certainly looks the part and goes down the highway with that solid Autobahn feel. It's even offered with a diesel engine, but from there it gets a little more red, white, and blue. To begin with, it's built in Tennessee, which definitely isn't in Europe. More importantly though, the Passat is enormous. The back seat has abundant room for adults or rear-facing child seats, and the trunk is bigger than most competitors. Then there's the price. Unlike past expensive Passats, this one lines up closely with other family sedans in terms of getting more equipment for your money. Now, you can't get quite as much equipment as some competitors, especially certain advanced entertainment and safety features. Also, that lower price goes along with materials quality and construction that isn't as good as past Volkswagens, nor even rivals like the Ford Fusion. The engines are also in line with American tastes. It's possible you'll find a 2014 Passat on the dealer lot with a 2.5-liter 5-cylinder, but we'd avoid that, as VW is phasing it out in favor of an excellent 1.8-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's an energetic engine with good fuel economy. There are two other engines. If you want more power, there's a 280 horsepower V6. If you want hybrid rivaling efficiency, there's the turbo diesel TDI model. It gets even better fuel economy than the EPA estimates, and it's the one we'd choose. All families, American or not, should appreciate the 5-star government crash rating. Regardless of its nationality, the VW Passat slots just below our top-rated family sedans, the Honda Accord and Nissan Altima, as well as the Ford Fusion and Mazda 6. Each is a little better to drive and well-rounded. On the other hand, Mazda is the only other brand to offer a diesel engine. Now, for more information about the Volkswagen Passat and all of its rivals, go to Edmunds.com.
Welcome to Carfax. Before you buy a used car, get a Carfax report. See accidents and service reported to Carfax, plus a price based on the car's history. Each year, millions of people just like you use Carfax. Why? Because each Carfax report checks for accidents, damage, title problems, open recalls, and more reported to Carfax to help you avoid costly hidden problems. But that's not all. Carfax checks for service history, owner information, and more to help you find a well-maintained vehicle that's right for you. With billions of records from thousands of sources, Carfax is a valuable tool to help you find a great used car. Nobody knows everything, but a Carfax report is a great place to start. Get yours now at Carfax.com.
If you want to go green, the Ford Fusion gives you options. On one hand, you've got the Fusion Hybrid, which gets an amazing 47 miles per gallon in both city and highway driving. But what if you could have a plug-in version with full electric capability? That's where the Fusion Energy comes in, and we've got 5 reasons why it could be the best Fusion yet.
Real-world EV range. The plug-in Energy has a bigger battery pack and electric motor than a typical hybrid, so its EV mode really works. You can drive the Energy as an electric car for about 20 miles per charge, which is enough to get a lot of folks to work. Quick charging times. With its standard 120-volt charge cord, the Fusion Energy needs about 7 hours for a full recharge. So if your workplace has a charging station, you can charge it up while you're on the job. And if you get the optional 240-volt charging station, you'll only need 2.5 hours per charge. Road trip ready. Like the Chevy Volt, the Fusion Energy also has a gas engine that's got your back when the battery pack gives up. That means you don't need a backup car for long road trips. The Fusion Energy can do it all. It's like having 2 cars in one, and the gas engine still gets an impressive 43 miles per gallon. Drives like a Fusion. Aside from its fancy hybrid hardware, the Energy drives just like any other Fusion. That means you get sharp, European-style handling and a smooth, quiet ride. The Fusion Energy can even go 0 to 60 in about 8 seconds. Spacious back seat. Unlike the Volt and Toyota Prius plug-in, the Fusion Energy is a plug-in hybrid with plenty of room for passengers.
The Fusion Energy is the rare plug-in hybrid that's also easy to live with, and that should give it plenty of energy in today's demanding marketplace. If you're going to buy a compact SUV, you have about 13 to choose from. With such a vast field, is there any reason why you would choose a Nissan Rogue instead of, let's say, a Honda CR-V or a Toyota RAV4? Actually, yeah. Unlike nearly every compact SUV, the Rogue can technically seat 7. I say technically because the third row actually offers less headroom than a Scion FRS's minuscule back seat and only about 1.5 inches more legroom. Given the third row's cramped dimensions, the two-row setup is probably the way to go. Not only will you save $940, but you get the divide and hide cargo management system, which does exactly as it's described. There, it divides section. By the way, this is waterproof. You can hide by moving this one up top here. There's actually 18 different configurations. And for long items, you can also flip down the front seat, toss this one down, and lengthy Brits can get comfortable and relax with a manly pose. When not lugging up to 70 cubic feet of cargo, the Rogue makes an excellent people hauler. Headroom is abundant in the first and second rows, as is legroom. The second row also slides and reclines and features a nifty fold-down armrest/pass-through. Standard vents for rear passengers, soft touch points, and nice materials throughout further elevate the smartly conceived cabin. On the road, steering, ride quality, and acceleration are all unexceptional, which isn't really a criticism of the Nissan Rogue. It just happens to occupy that mature space on the spectrum between fun to drive and smooth riding. The most noteworthy aspect about driving the Nissan Rogue is the powertrain. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine makes good, if not class-leading power, but it's paired with a CVT, continuously variable transmission. Nissan's been selling these things for more than a decade, but it still takes a little getting used to the engine revving, lack of traditional gear changes. The upside to that odd operation is strong fuel economy. Adding the $1,300 all-wheel drive system lowers each of those numbers by 1 mpg. Look over your right shoulder and you'll notice a big blind spot, which makes lane changes a little bit dicey. Adjust your mirrors accordingly. If lane change safety is something you're willing to pay for, blind spot monitoring and lane departure warning are both available. In that same vein, the Rogue can also be equipped with one of the most helpful technologies available in a car. With Nissan's Around View monitor, that blind spot's essentially a non-issue. In fact, you could not look outside the vehicle at all and still parallel park quite successfully. Cameras built around the vehicle give you a quasi-bird's eye view of the world outside. Steady, steady. All right, watch the edges. Pulling forward. Ding! Around View monitor makes parking essentially idiot-proof. Other extra cost niceties include an impressively huge panoramic moonroof, navigation with a laggy 7-inch screen, leather upholstery, forward collision alert with automatic collision braking, and something not offered on all compact SUVs, a motion-activated liftgate. Bid restraint adieu, and you can spend nearly $33,000 on a loaded all-wheel drive Rogue SL trim. Choose frugality, and the price for a basic Rogue lands just shy of $24,000, including destination charges, Bluetooth, cruise control, 6 airbags, a 4-speaker audio system with 5-inch display, LED daytime running lights, and a backup camera. For about the same money, you could buy a Mitsubishi Outlander or Dodge Journey, each sporting a fun-sized third row, but neither is as refined as the Rogue. Compared to similarly priced 5-passenger SUVs like the sporty Ford Escape, the reliable Toyota RAV4, and the utterly pragmatic Honda CR-V, the Nissan Rogue is competitively priced, and yet it tends to lag the other three in sales. Compact SUVs sell well for a variety of reasons, but just because something sells well doesn't mean it best meets your needs. If fuel efficiency, vehicle technology, cargo flexibility, and let's say 7-passenger seating fall on your list of must-haves, the Nissan Rogue deserves a spot on your short list. In the midsize sedan world, to say the competition is stiff could be an understatement. The Kia Optima knows how to compete, and we have 5 reasons why the 4th generation Optima will win you over. Sheer value. Unlike many in the midsize sedan segment, the Optima has a value that is hard to match. Starting at under $23,000, you'll have a tough time looking elsewhere when comparing. The feature-rich Optima offers satellite radio compatibility, remote entry, and an 8-way power driver's seat, to name a few. Modern technology. In a technology-driven world, you have to stay up to speed, and Kia didn't miss a beat with the Optima. USB iPod connectivity as well as hands-free Bluetooth are standard. The optional UVO infotainment offers a one-of-a-kind, groundbreaking technology, as it has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay systems, so no matter what smartphone you have, you'll be connected. Ride quality. Behind the wheel, the Kia Optima delivers a pleasurable ride. It does a fine job soaking up bumpy roads, and the handling gives you confidence in the corners. Road noise is kept fairly in check, and the Optima has a great balance of comfort and aggressiveness on the road. Protection and safety. For some, safety is a top priority in a car. Kia felt the same way when designing the Optima. Hill start assist and vehicle stability management come standard. Upgrades can include blind spot detection and surround view monitor. Attractive styling. The head-turning Optima is taller, wider, and longer than before, making it roomier. Standard features include 16-inch alloys and a chrome exhaust tip, among others. The coupe-like roofline and rear taillight design give it a very clean, sporty look. Well into its 2nd decade, the Kia Optima offers protection, styling, and technology at an extremely reasonable price point. If you're shopping in this segment, put the Kia Optima on your list.
Hi, I'm Chris Wardlaw for Auto by Tel, and today we're reviewing the 2014 Volkswagen Passat. Now for 2014, this car gets a brand new turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and a few other enhancements that are pretty important. But first of all, I want to talk about what this car is today. This version of the Passat arrived in 2012. Volkswagen says it designed it specifically for an American audience. In fact, the company spent $5 billion building a new factory, hiring workers, and firing up the assembly line in Chattanooga, Tennessee to build this car. Now, how have Americans responded? This car ranks 9th in its class in terms of overall sales on a monthly basis. It's behind every other midsize sedan you can think of, except maybe the Mazda 6. Now, I don't think that there's any reason that Americans should be passing this car over in favor of some of the heavy hitters in the segment, and this video is going to explain why. Now, if you're looking for something transformative about the 2014 Passat, this is it. This is Volkswagen's new turbocharged 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine. It replaces the old 2.5-liter 5-cylinder engine that had that grumbling engine character and didn't get very good fuel economy. That's gone. This is in as standard equipment every Passat. You can still get, though, the turbo diesel TDI. You can still get a V6, but this is going to be in the majority of 2014 Passats. Now, it makes the same horsepower as the old 5-cylinder. It's got 170 horsepower, 184 pound-feet of torque, which is more than the old engine did, and the torque's available across a broader rev range, which means the car feels more energetic, more spirited. Plus, it gets better fuel economy. The old 5-cylinder was rated at 25 miles per gallon in combined driving. This is rated 28. Now, on my test loop, I got 26.8 miles per gallon, a little bit less than what the EPA says. But I'll tell you this, on my drive over here this morning, it was all city. I got just about 20, and then on a drive from Ventura County, California down to Orange County over the weekend, I almost got 37 miles per gallon out of this thing. So I think that in combined driving, you're probably gonna hit the 28. Now, as far as transmissions go, enthusiasts, you should be rejoicing because a 5-speed manual gearbox comes standard. Now, if you don't like that third pedal and you need an automatic, A 6-speed automatic is available with this engine. It's standard in some models. And it's a traditional automatic. It's not the direct shift gearbox. So it's not as herky-jerky as that automated manual transmission is. Still, it is calibrated to upshift fast so that you can maximize your fuel economy. Sometimes that is irritating, and sometimes the engine does clunk heavily into gear, which seems a little unrefined. But for the most part, this is a fantastic powertrain. I really love this engine. Now to load the Passat's trunk, all you do is you hold the button on the remote, pops all the way open, which is really nice. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in here. Now, the trunk is deep from here to the back seat, but it's shallow in terms of its overall height, which means you can easily slide a full-size suitcase all the way in and get a stroller in right behind it and even some more things. But what you can't do is you can't stack the suitcase this way. It just, there's no way. There's not enough clearance here. So, you know, it all depends really on what you prefer in terms of your trunk configuration. The measurement is 15.9 cubic feet. You can expand cargo space by pulling these to release the seat backs, and then you have to fold them down manually. There's also a center pass-through for skis or longer items. And right along here on the right hand or on the left-hand side is a very small bin that is deep enough to hold a small bag that you don't want rolling around in the trunk. Now, you'll notice that while these are covered, they could crush anything that gets packed in here too tightly. Something that really bothered my wife. I thought it was hilarious, but you know, I just basically said, oh honey, why don't you just not pack stuff there? But that seems to be maybe a little too obvious. You grab a little shelf almost. There's one on either side, and one and done, swing it shut. No problem. Now, you may have noticed that I'm not a small guy, but the back seat in the Passat makes me feel like a small guy. I mean, look at how much room I have back here. It's like a limousine. And this driver's seat is set for my comfort. I've got fairly long legs. I'm 6 feet tall. I've got a 33-inch inseam. The seat is set for my comfort, and I've still got all this room in the back. Soft touch upper door materials. You've got this fold down center armrest with a little storage area in it that's lined so things won't rattle. The cup holders aren't terribly deep, but you know, that's all right. You shouldn't be drinking in the back seat anyway, right? Also have rear air vents, which make it a lot more comfortable back here on a hot or a cold day. I really think this is one of the big selling points to the Passat. And for you dads and moms out there who have little kids that ride in forward-facing car seats, I had my 3-year-old in here and her legs were not long enough to kick my seat. It was awesome. So as you can see, the front seat is really roomy too. The SEL Premium test car that I've got has the Sport Comfort front seats. They're 12-way adjustable for the driver and the front passenger. They're extremely comfortable. They're great for long distance drives. And in the SEL Premium model, they're covered with a combination of leather and this synthetic suede. The synthetic suede does preclude the ability to get ventilated seats on this car. So if you live in a muggy, humid climate, you may want to choose another car because Volkswagen does not offer that feature here. There are a few quirks to the overall cabin layout. First of all, the start button is located right here. And it doesn't always react right away. Many times I've gotten in the car, pushed on the brake pedal, pushed that button, nothing happens. So that's one area of refinement that Volkswagen could probably stand to apply some attention. The other area is with this stereo system. When it first boots up in the morning, it takes a really long time for the reversing camera to get going. This morning, I was out of my driveway, down the street, and almost out of my neighborhood before the system was finally booted up. But right now, as you can see, I put it in reverse. The reversing camera comes up fairly quickly. Otherwise, this is a really nicely laid out cabin. I think that the materials up here north of the wood look terrific, very upscale. Below that, kind of cheap, kind of glossy, kind of hard. And that's probably where Volkswagen made the car a little more affordable. All 4 windows offer automatic up-down operation. That's a feature I really like. Sunroof, 1 twist, and it opens right up. Generally, the Volkswagen's really well done. Okay, we are driving the 2014 Passat 1.8T. It's rush hour in suburbia in LA, and we're gonna jump on the freeway here. Now, this car generates a lot of road noise, and the more road texture there is, the louder it is. All right, down the on-ramp. So, I've got it floored. We just passed 70. You're not gonna have any trouble merging into traffic in this car. So, 170 horsepower in a car this size doesn't really sound all that dramatic, but it's really the torque that makes the difference here. It's spread across a broad portion of the car's rev range. It's very accessible. There is a little bit of turbo lag right when you step on the gas. So if you're making a left-hand turn across traffic and you think you might, be able to beat the car that's coming towards you, you might want to think twice about that. But once that turbocharger spools up and the torque kicks in, it's just a steady stream of refined power all the way up to whatever your cruising speed needs to be. Now, right before we accelerated down the on-ramp, I mentioned that the car generates a lot of road noise. We're on fairly smooth concrete right now. There's a lot of road noise coming up. The more granulated the surface, the louder it is. And if it's really granulated, there are a few little buzzes and rattles and vibrations in here that are a little bit irritating. Now, I don't get to experience a lot of that in California because for the most part our roads are in pretty good shape. But in other parts of the country, especially after the winter most people just had, this is a pretty loud car. It's also, it lacks some isolation. In the tradition of a good German vehicle, it does a great job of communicating texture and a great job of letting you know what's happening at each of the tire's contact patches. But some people don't like that. And what occasionally it feels like is that the ride is somewhat jittery, a little bit brittle. But then the way the suspension is tuned, the car kind of bobs a little bit, almost floats sometimes. And that's also a little bit disconcerting. It's almost as though the car is under suspended, like it can't deal with big undulations in the pavement, like drainage channels or dips in the road. So I really feel like Volkswagen, in trying to create a car that's tuned for an American's preference for softer ride quality, may have made a few errors in judgment in terms of the suspension tuning. Now, look, you may disagree, you may love the way this car rides, but I'm not that crazy about it. Handling is a different story. When I took this out into the mountains on my twisty road loop, it did an amazing job. I mean, body roll is remarkably well controlled with this vehicle, and the tires, it's got 18-inch Continental, I think they're Conti Sport Contact tires on it. They didn't squeal once. And the result, between the way that the car steers and the way that it accelerates and the way that it shifts, it eggs you on. It's an incredibly engaging driving experience if you decide that you're the type of person who really likes to, every once in a while, have a good time behind the wheel. This car will deliver that. At the start of this review of the 2014 Passat, I talked about how this car is not a very big seller in its segment. People continue to pick all the cars they always have, including the Camry and the Accord. Now, from my perspective, this car deserves greater attention. It's stylish, it's roomy, it's got a big trunk, it's comfortable, it's practical, it's fun to drive most of the time. These are the reasons that owners told J.D. Power that this was the most appealing car in its class last year. Now, on top of that, it's really safe. It gets a 5-star rating from the NHTSA, and it's a top safety pick from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. You add free maintenance for 2 years and 24,000 miles. I don't see why you wouldn't at least consider going to test drive a Passat. For Auto by Tel, I'm Chris Wardlaw. I'll see you right back here next time.
Hi, need help finding a dependable used car?
Yeah, I'm worried about things like flood damage.
Oh, our team doesn't keep quiet about those cars.
Frank to Carfax. Found an SUV here.
Here's a sports sedan. I'll get the VIN number.
Oh, there's a convertible. Avoid that one.
Largemouth bass. They get the word out. Only one site has a free Carfax report for every car listed.
That's it.
Start shopping at the new Carfax.com.
I don't envy this car. VW competes in perhaps the most competitive sector of automotive right now with the Passat. Up against Accord, Camry, Fusion, Malibu, Optima, Sonata, Altima. Yikes. Let's see how they do as we drive the 2014 Passat SEL Premium and check the tech. You're going to see a theme come over and over again that makes this car distinctive, and that is it's got beautiful design. Not audacious, not swoopy, not standout, but mature, quality German looks. And that's a key part of where it stands out in the market. We'll see that inside as well. Now inside, look around. For the money, you're not going to find a more handsome car in a kind of a timeless, high-quality look on the market anywhere. I don't think anyone hits this level of really nice design. Now because we're in a fairly high-trim Jetta, it comes with an LCD touch-based system with navigation. Seen it basically before. It's nothing terribly new, and it's certainly not head of the pack. Among the things that irk me, once you go to enter a destination, you must do it by the touchscreen, which works, by the way, while you're moving. That's controversial. But the voice command button over here does not drive address entry. It's just for the phone system. That's a little out of touch with today's technology and today's road safety sensitivities. I also find the system at times very laggy as you bounce between either media choices or the map and the navigation. Sometimes it's very crisp and moves along well, other times it seems to get lost for a moment. I'm pleased, however, they've gotten rid of this crazy planets around the sun interface they used to do, where everything is a little ball around a center orb. Makes no sense to me as information design. This is better. It's basically stacked rectangles and such, but it's more organized. The other screen in this car is the little helper screen between the two analog gauges, and that's this crunchy looking, jaggy black and white LCD that just seems déclassé in what is otherwise, as I mentioned, a really beautifully done cabin. So this is where VW falls down. They've done such a great job with the physical, not such a great job with the virtual. You can hook up VW CarNet as your apps support. It gives you OnStar-like crash and safety stuff, along with remote access to your car and some boundary and speed alerts so you can keep an eye on your teenager. It also brings along an enhanced level of POI technology for destinations. But in general, there are no media apps going on here, nothing you actually like. No Yelp, no OpenTable, no Bing search, no Google search. That's just not available here. Your media choices are fairly comprehensive. I've got an SD card slot down here, if you really want to use that. We've got the ability to go from AM and FM and satellite radio all under band right here. In addition to the SD card for other media, you've got a hard drive. You know I'm not a fan of those. And a thing called the MDI, a multi-device interface, is this cable here. It's a big VW Audi thing. I currently have the iPod cable. You could buy other types of cables to interface to your device. I would happily trade this pigtail arrangement, though, for a good old standard USB jack and unload some of this stuff I don't care about, like the SD card and the hard drive. We have Fender audio in this car, which is Fender branded. It's a Panasonic audio system, and it's got a punchiness to it. That's kind of the rubric around it being Fender. I feel it sounds fine. It's not a standout in the market by any stretch, but it is an upgraded audio system that you won't be disappointed with. Bluetooth calling has a nice set of memory presets up front and center on its main screen, and of course we have Bluetooth streaming as well. Nice touch with the Bluetooth streaming is that when you turn the volume all the way down, which is often laggy, it goes into pause mode. And then when you turn the volume back up, which is very natural, it undoes pause and goes back to play. At this trim level and almost all levels of current Passats, you get the rear camera thrown in for free. No up, no extra. That's nice. It's pretty basic. No trajectory prediction, no multiple views, but it's a way to look out the back. Now under the hood here, we've got some big changes in the Passat. It used to come typically with a 2.5-liter inline-5 gas engine. It's been way downsized. 1.8-liter inline-4, but now with turbocharging and direct injection, a thoroughly modern motor. The numbers: 170 horsepower, same as the much bigger outgoing engine. 184 pound-feet of torque, 7 more than the larger outgoing engines. That's a nice win. A car that weighs 3,200 pounds now gets up to 60 in 7.8 seconds, about a second faster than the outgoing car, while delivering 2434 mpg in this configuration. Front-wheel drive only, by the way, which is going to be a problem for some drivers. Now on our SEL, there's one choice on the gearbox. Some Passats come with a 5-speed manual. This guy only comes with a 6-speed Tiptronic with a pretty standard gate, no paddles on the wheel. If you want to shift yourself, you leave it in drive and kick it to the right to get your column-mounted shifting, or pull it back to sport mode for an automatic but more energetic mode.
Now, just as our Passat's screen interfaces are a bit dated, so is its complete lack of any driver assistance tech. Don't go looking for lane departure warning, blind spot indication, forward collision warning, or even adaptive cruise control.
First thing I notice in this Passat is just a small amount of diesel engine noise coming in through the firewall. Problem with that is, this isn't a diesel, so that's not good. When you're really on the throttle, the engine has a nice growl. When you're going down the freeway, it's basically inaudible. But around town, when you're on and off the power, it's got kind of a bad diesel note that really blows up the otherwise very tasteful styling and environment of this car. Now, the power is Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes the power is right there, ready to go, and this is just a great, torquey, smooth, thrusting car. Other times, you catch it absolutely flat-footed. You go to the pedal, you want some power now to pass or do something, and it's like the engine was shut off for part of a second.
Note this about the transmission in this car. You've got the drive mode, as I mentioned, a shiftable mode, and a sport mode, but you don't really ever blend shiftable and sport, which I think is kind of unfortunate. What I would like is to go to sport mode and then have my paddles up here for shiftability, but you've got to get a different trim level Passat to get the combination of paddles and automatic.
I give this car high marks for its handling. I think it's a very well-struck balance between a sporty feel, a nimble, light, active feel, and excellent ride quality. It does both, I think, very well. If I had to nitpick the handling at all, it's the new-ish, for this car, full electric power steering, which I think is over-assisted almost all the time. They need to dial that back or make it more intelligent at higher speeds. Okay, pricing of Passat's pretty easy. VW is doing a lot of trim-level pricing now, not so much a la carte options. So an SEL Premium is $32,100 delivered. It does well as a handling car and as one that has excellent design inside and out. Not so much as a technology standard bearer. As you saw, you're missing a whole lot of app integration, connected car features, and driver assistance technology. You buy this car because of generally excellent VW handling in an everyday sense, not so much because of the power delivery, and not because it's a technology showcase, but it's got excellent German design.
Chevy's unveiling its all-new, completely redesigned 2016 Malibu here at the New York International Auto Show. It's a little bit longer, it's a little bit sportier, and it's lost a few pounds too. We've got a completely redesigned interior, 4 extra inches of legroom, which is really nice, and a panoramic moonroof. Some new technology that they've added, it's a teen driver mode. It's got a report card function. It actually saves data so you can later check and see how your kid drove the vehicle. For example, maximum speed reached, distance driven. Parents can also use the system to give teen drivers audible and visual warnings when the vehicle is traveling over preset speeds. Engines consist of a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder or a 2-liter turbocharged 4. But the Malibu's also got hybrid power. And the Malibu's hybrid powertrain consists of an all-new direct injection 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine, mated to a 2-motor drive unit, slightly modified from the 2016 Chevy Volt. And the advanced lithium-ion battery chemistry can power the Malibu Hybrid at up to 55 miles per hour on electricity alone. The gasoline-powered engine will come automatically on at higher speeds and higher loads when necessary to provide additional power. The all-new 2016 Malibu Hybrid will be manufactured in Kansas City, Kansas at the Fairfax Assembly Plant, and it's due to hit Chevrolet showrooms later this year as a 2016 model.
You've heard of health insurance and homeowners insurance and even pet insurance. What about gap insurance? No, it's not coverage for your moderately priced khakis and tasteful sweaters from the mall. It's for your car, more specifically, for the full value of your car. You may be aware that the moment you drive your car off the dealer lot, it loses roughly 10% of its value. And on average, your car will continue to depreciate 15 to 25% each year after that, according to Carfax. But hey, that's the cost of car ownership, right? If anything happens to your car before you have your loan paid off, your comprehensive or collision insurance will replace your ride, right? Not necessarily. If your car is stolen and not recovered, or crashed and declared a total loss, your auto insurance carrier may not wholly make you whole. Instead, they'll reimburse you for the actual cash value of your car, which remember, has been losing value since it became your car, less your deductible. Because your car may depreciate faster than your car payments reduce your loan balance, then you still may owe thousands of dollars more than that actual cash value your policy pays out. Gap Insurance covers this difference so you can catch a ride to the dealership, roll home in your brand new replacement ride, and all you'll be out is your deductible and the time it takes you to reprogram your stereo settings. Esurance estimates you can purchase Gap Insurance for a few extra bucks a month on your vehicle's policy, or from the dealer for $500 to $1,000. Now, if you own your car outright, Gap Insurance probably isn't a great investment for you. Feeling lucky? Then take your chances and go without. But if you want to be on the safe side, then as they say in London, mind the gap.
We always loved the previous Nissan Rogue, but it was never quite versatile enough for growing families. That's why the all-new Nissan Rogue is such a big deal. There's a strong family focus this time around, and that's unusual for a compact crossover. We've got 5 reasons why the Rogue might be your family's best bet. Grown-up ride. Small crossovers are often aimed at young urban types, which can mean a firm, even jarring ride. But the new Rogue is tuned for comfort. Comfort that makes road trips more enjoyable. It's rare to find such a smooth suspension in this segment. Premium interior. The Rogue has also matured in terms of amenities. The front seats are inspired by NASA research, and they're amazingly comfortable on long trips. The attractive displays and rich, supple materials wouldn't be out of place in a luxury vehicle. It's hard not to be impressed by this affordable crossover's upscale vibe. Available third row seat. Although the new Rogue is basically the same size as the old one, now you can get a third row seat that raises the seating capacity to 7. That's a great option if you don't want a bigger, more expensive mid-size crossover. Fuel economy. Thanks to its advanced CVT, the Rogue gets an astounding 28 miles per gallon overall, including 33 miles per gallon on the highway. Plus, the CVT technically doesn't have any gears, so you'll never even feel it shift. Modern safety. All Rogues come with 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes and stability control, but that's just the beginning. The premium package brings a 360-degree camera system that alerts you to road hazards from every possible angle. The Rogue is one of the only vehicles to offer this technology regardless of price. What's not to like? We're still trying to figure that out. The redesigned Rogue is almost a no-brainer if you're looking for a right-sized family vehicle that won't break the bank.
Hey, I'm here for my car.
Oh, yeah? Well, what do you think it's going to cost you?
What?
I think it's time we play... The game show where you guess what happens when your auto warranty expires. I'm your host, Sip Quimble. And what's your name, son?
Stanley?
Okay, Stanley, let's jump right in. The first item you've had repaired is your transmission. Ooh. That's a toughie. Now, how much should that typically cost to repair?
Oh, gosh, a lot.
Lot?
Maybe $3,000?
Correct! Not bad, Stanley. You're 1 for 1. But hold on. Looks like you've also had your air conditioning fixed. Ooh, ouch. Now, how much should a typical AC overhaul go for?
I'd say $200.
Oh, no. Oh, Stanley, that's an easy 18 hundo with parts and labor. Oh, okay, doctor. Deep breath, okay? What Stan here, can I call you Stan? Okay, what Stan here doesn't know is that we've also had to do a total engine replacement. That's a real wallet buster. So, For the keys to your car, how much would you expect to pay for the transmission, the AC, and the unexpected engine replacement? And do you dare to repair?
$0, Sip.
What, are you messing with me, kid?
No.
What?
I have Endurance. I never have to worry about my repair costs. They pick up my warranty where I left off. Parts, labor. Endurance Warranty Services covers just about everything. Seriously.
Wow. Bang. He's right. That checks out. So, you heard it. If your warranty is expired or about to expire, get Endurance Warranty Services, and you could save thousands of dollars. Thanks for playing.
Dare to repair!
I'm your host, Sip Quimble, and I'll see you next time.
I feel bad for the Jetta TDI sometimes. Here it is in a diesel-hating country. Kinda barely getting traction in its diesel form. Why? Because we're kinda stupid around here. This is one of the best executed diesel cars in the world. Let's drive the 2014 Jetta Sportwagon TDI with the sunroof. That's a model, by the way. And check the tech. Now, it seems to me almost everybody I run into who doesn't own a Jetta scoffs at a Jetta. They think it's kind of plain Jane, vanilla, a pitiful little suburban wagon. I love these cars. I find them to be reserved, austere, a beautiful steady hand on their design, and I love station wagons. This is a 6th generation Jetta, which means that they kind of cheaped out since the 5th generation. They took a complex rear suspension and made it a cheaper beam construction. The fancy one stays in Europe. They deleted leather interior, that's fine by me, and supposedly cheaped out the materials around the dashboard and such as well. Now inside, they may have cheapened this interior, but it still works for me. I think the materials are still quite good. The layout, like the outside of the car, is austere. It's good design. It doesn't appeal to everybody. A lot of folks look at it and say, oh, it looks plain. Others look at it and say, no, it's tasteful. It's your call. Now, an LCD head unit is standard on this car, navigation within it is optional, and ugly is included at no extra cost. This is my least favorite head unit of any of the cars that I like out there in the world. I find it ugly. It's kind of not very intuitive as well. They've done a little bit to kind of move things around and make them a little more logical, but they don't take good advantage of the real estate, and I find that though the response is good, they've just got a lame, sort of a flat-looking interface. This should just be a basic head unit without LCD, unless you have nav. All the sources, though, are good to go, from aux, AM, FM, HD radio, satellite with a complimentary 3 months. Now, what's missing is USB. Instead, you have MMI, their multimedia interface, or MDI, they call it on Volkswagens. That means you can put different pigtails on here, which I think can include a USB female, but the biggest problem is this. It lives on this short, stiff cord inside this tight little binnacle, and for a modern iOS device, you got to use an adapter, because last time I checked, they haven't done the small connector that Apple uses now, the Lightning connector, for this pigtail, which now means nothing fits in the console. Your iOS device will always have to live outside like that. Now, luckily, we have the main transmission, the base rig, which is a 6-speed manual. Top 2 gears, by the way, are overdrive, part of how they get more MPG out of this guy. And with a diesel, with all that torque, that's fine. You can actually go with 2 overdrives and do everything else in your other, taller, remaining 4 gears. The other optional gearbox on this is very interesting. Your automatic is a direct shift gearbox, a dual clutch DSG. There is no traditional automatic in the lineup. That's kind of ambitious. Now, I love the sunroof in this car. It's a trim level on the Jetta Sportwagon. This is Jetta Sportwagon TDI with sunroof. This control here gives you both the glass and the screen. You rotate to preset positions here all the way open, and you get this enormous hole in the roof. It's just this incredible, dramatic opening. But I love the screen here as well, because it rolls completely out of the way without a mid-bar. So you get this whole open expanse. And with the top open like so, and then you close this screen up, you have this very nice kind of screened-in room, if you will, that I don't think any other car I know of offers. Okay, TDI, it means several things. It's a diesel with turbocharging and direct injection. Direct injection via a common rail technology, which you can see right here. This was very revolutionary in the diesel engine world for passenger cars. What happens is it's a very precise engine as a result of all these technologies. And you get 140 horsepower, who cares? 236 foot-pounds of torque. That's the nice number. But it's been tuned relatively toward efficiency. So 0 to 60 is a kind of okay 10 seconds for this 3,300-pound car. The MPG resulting from that is 30 city, 42 highway. Pretty good stuff. Unless you get the automatic. Now you drop down to 29 city, 39 highway. Still good, but not going to blow anybody away. The problem is the automatics in this market need to blow people away. Having to commit to a manual to get full MPG out of this guy is a bit problematic. This engine, of course, is a rock star for VW. You'll find it in the Golf, you'll find it in the Beetle, you'll find it in the Audi A3. It's all over the place for them. So it's a well-proven motor. Don't have any ideas that it's somehow new age tech that might not have a future. Let's go for a ride. Okay, underway, the first thing I notice is the torque is really good, low to mid-range, like 1,200 to 3,500 RPM is your sweet spot. Notice you don't need to go much beyond that, and you really can't. Above 4,000, there's no point, even though turbos do spread the power around a little better. It is a definite different engine note. You will notice that, yes, it's not like a gas engine, and it doesn't reward those high RPM run-ups that a gas engine typically does. I've got this sneaking suspicion that they've tuned out some of the low-end torque in this current powertrain for economy, because it doesn't quite have that giddy oomph that I'm used to in the TDI powertrains I've driven in the last couple of years. I'm not quite sure, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something going on where they've detuned some of the low-end lobe for efficiency, is my hunch. That said, there's plenty to go around. Nice taut suspension, that's a VW thing, they can't help themselves there, luckily. Good visibility out the back, and you can see what I love about this roof. That's a beautiful piece of glass up there, especially in a car at a pretty modest price point. It's a luxury feel. Very nice. Overall, I don't know why I don't own one of these. I love wagons, I love diesels. I just hate to buy new cars at new car prices. Okay, let's price our little oil-burning friend. $28,400 for a TDI sport wagon with the sunroof. Remember, that's a model, not an option. The NAV model above this is $800 more. Don't bother, that head unit's crap. The DSG automatic model is $1,100 more. Don't bother, it scrubs off MPG. That's kind of why you buy this guy. So $28,400, here it is. Now, I really like this car, but I'm partial in some odd ways that make me kind of a commie in America. I like diesels, I like station wagons, and I also like torque over horsepower. A lot of folks share that with me. An issue to watch is what the Chevy Cruze diesel will do to this guy's market share. We reviewed that one recently, and it offers up to 7 MPG better on the highway, plus an automatic, but no wagon.
Welcome to Carfax. Before you buy a used car, get a Carfax report. See accidents and service reported to Carfax, plus a price based on the car's history. Each year, millions of people just like you use Carfax. Why? Because each Carfax report checks for accidents, damage, title problems, open recalls, and more reported to Carfax to help you avoid costly hidden problems. But that's not all. Carfax checks for service history, owner information, and more to help you find a well-maintained vehicle that's right for you. With billions of records from thousands of sources, Carfax is a valuable tool to help you find a great used car. Nobody knows everything, but a Carfax report is a great place to start. Get yours now at Carfax.com.
Chevy's unveiling its all-new, completely redesigned 2016 Malibu here at the New York International Auto Show. It's a little bit longer, it's a little bit sportier, and it's lost a few pounds too. We've got a completely redesigned interior, 4 extra inches of legroom, which is really nice, and a panoramic moonroof. Some new technology that they've added, it's a teen driver mode. It's got a report card function. It actually saves data so you can later check and see how your kid drove the vehicle. For example, maximum speed reached, distance driven. Parents can also use the system to give teen drivers audible and visual warnings when the vehicle is traveling over preset speeds. Engines consist of a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder or a 2-liter turbocharged 4, but the Malibu's also got hybrid power. And the Malibu's hybrid powertrain consists of an all-new direct injection 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine, mated to a two-motor drive unit, slightly modified from the 2016 Chevy Volt. And the advanced lithium-ion battery chemistry can power the Malibu hybrid at up to 55 miles per hour on electricity alone. The gasoline-powered engine will come automatically on at higher speeds and higher loads when necessary to provide additional power. The all-new 2016 Malibu Hybrid will be manufactured in Kansas City, Kansas at the Fairfax Assembly Plant, and it's due to hit Chevrolet showrooms later this year as a 2016 model.
Hi. Need help finding a dependable used car?
Yeah, I'm worried about things like flood damage.
Oh, our team doesn't keep quiet about those cars.
Rank to Carfax. Found an SUV here.
Here's a sports sedan. I'll get the VIN number.
Oh, there's a convertible. Avoid that one.
Largemouth bass. They get the word out. Only one site has a free Carfax report for every car listed.
That's it.
Start shopping at the new Carfax.com.
Today, we're in Middleburg, Virginia to take the new 2015 Volkswagen Jetta TDI for a test drive. The exterior changes aren't mind-blowing, but they're very well executed. The Jetta has been enhanced with new lights front and back, a new trunk, and an overall smoother shape for better aerodynamics. I personally like the look, and I think it looks a little more serious compared to the previous models. The interior of the previous Jetta was a point of contention for many. Volkswagen listened, and the new Jetta gets an all-new interior, complete with soft-touch materials, chromed rim gauges, piano finished trim, and an overall upscale look and feel. Options available include a Fender audio system, leather seats, and navigation. As usual, the rear seat and cargo space is very generous for this class of vehicle. There are 3 new safety features available for 2015. First is the blind spot monitor, notifying you if there's someone in your blind spot on either side of the car when you're changing lanes. Second, a rear traffic alert system. Perfect if you're backing up from a parking spot and you can't see either side of you. The third is a radar-based forward collision warning system. Time for the drive. The Jetta TDI now gets independent suspension. Actually, all the Jettas get independent suspension. Previously, only the GLI, which is their top trim, and the hybrid got the independent suspension. Now, what does that give you, or what does that do for you? For the average person, you're not going to really notice a lot compared to the torsion beam suspension they had previously, but what you will feel when you're pushing the vehicle, or even under emergency circumstances, you're going to feel a lot more confident and have that a little bit more security driving this vehicle. As for security as well, 4-wheel disc brakes now. Previously, you had drums in the back. Well, 4-wheel all around. The motor is all new now.
For the 2015, we've enhanced our diesel engine from one end to the other. This year, it now produces 150 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque. So it's quick, it's very smooth on the highway, it's great in the city, yet it delivers 8% better fuel efficiency and up to 40% less emissions. It really is the best of both worlds, and for customers who drive longer distances, TDI really is the ultimate solution for them.
As for the transmissions for 2015, they haven't changed. You have a 6-speed automatic DSG transmission or a 6-speed manual like the one that I'm driving right now. Now, speaking of manual transmissions and the Jetta TDI, if you've never driven a manual transmission, or you're one of these that are learning to drive a manual, I highly recommend that you try one of these out. The reason being is there's so much torque in this TDI that it's really hard to stall. They're extremely easy to drive, and you don't have to shift very much because of the torque. Right now I'm in 3rd gear right now. I can go 4th gear. We're doing about 60 kilometers an hour, and 4th gear, it still works. 3rd gear, no problem. Second gear, you could just go all day long in third gear if you wanted to. So, you know what? Manual transmission and the TDI, perfect match. The Jetta TDI is Volkswagen's most thrifty vehicle. On the highway, it sips only 5.2 liters per 100K. That's 54 miles per gallon for those Imperial fans. And in the city, a very respectable 7.7 liters per 100K. You'll pay a little bit more for a TDI, about $2,400 over a gas model. Just think of all the money you'll save, squeezing more than 1,100 kilometers per tank. If that's not enough reason, Volkswagen TDIs have a history of fetching top resale dollar.
Probably the best news for 2015 is that we've managed to hold a line on pricing. The Jetta starts at just $14,990, which is a great entry price. You've got a big car with a tremendous large passenger volume, lots of backseat space, and a huge trunk that starts at under $15,000. And throughout the line, regardless of which engine you choose, and remember, there's 3 engines to choose from, what we've done is we've added features, we've added content for 2015 to make the value equation even stronger.
It's what's inside that counts, right? Well, yes, but there's nothing wrong with looking good. Take the Ford Fusion. It's a perfectly competent 5-passenger family sedan. With the substance box checked, the Fusion is free to look as good as it wants. And boy, does it. A blunt nose, high belt line, graceful greenhouse, abbreviated rear deck lid, and ready stance make for a beautiful car. But, as stated, it's what's inside that counts. And inside, the Fusion's nicely assembled up-level materials, tasteful modern layout, plentiful sound deadening, and ample passenger space result in a quiet cabin that's quite delightsome. Trunk capacity is 16 cubic feet, a figure that's reduced by 25% in the hybrid. Luggage-limiting battery aside, the Fusion Hybrid's trunk is a winner, with fold-down seats that are a rarity among hybrids. Alongside our interior likes are some shortcomings. The optional navigation infotainment interface could be more intuitive and react quicker to inputs, issues that also appear with the 12-speaker Sony audio system. Traditional buttons work consistently and can usually be quickly identified while driving. The Sony's capacitive touch equivalents, not so much. Though less futuristic, we definitely prefer the standard stereo's physical buttons. The Ford Fusion utilizes electric power steering assist, benefits of which include reduced fuel consumption and the ability to add features like crosswind compensation and automatic parking, the big downside being disconnected steering feel. Honestly though, the amorphous notion of road feel is a huge deal for car reviewers, but a non-issue for nearly everyone else. In the Fusion's case, all that most drivers will notice is that the car goes predictably where it's steered, and the well-tuned suspension provides a compliant ride along with excellent handling. The Fusion's fun potential is further accentuated in the all-wheel drive EcoBoost trim, which boasts truly impressive cornering grip. These days you can't buy a Fusion with a V6, but the stout output and minimal turbo lag of the top-line EcoBoost 2-liter really helps you forget all about cylinder count. The Fusion's all-4-cylinder engine lineup also includes a workmanlike, naturally aspirated 2.5-liter base engine and a mid-level 1.6-liter EcoBoost that we really love. Delivering up to 37 highway MPG and a very reasonable 178 horsepower, the 1.6-liter strikes a smart balance between power and efficiency. It's also your only choice if you want a manual transmission. If you require all-wheel drive, then you'll have to step up to the top-level 2-liter EcoBoost. As a favor to your wallet, all of the Fusion's engines are made to run on regular gasoline, though horsepower drops slightly if you do so with either of the EcoBoost engines. Like most Fords, the Fusion is overflowing with sweet features, including a standard sync voice-activated infotainment system, this underappreciated capless fuel filler, and an optional keypad entry system that for some reason only Ford offers. Then there's the perpetually impressive Active Park Assist. Just press this button, and the car dings when you pass an appropriately sized spot. All the driver needs to do is work the pedals and the gear shift for an expert park job every time. terms of safety, the Fusion's 8 airbags, including dual knee airbags, can be supplemented with techie add-ons like a backup camera, blind spot warning, cross-traffic alert, and a lane departure warning system that's smart enough to actively pull the vehicle back into its lane. In addition to traditional gasoline-powered versions, the Ford Fusion is also offered as a hybrid. Well, 2 hybrids actually. There's a straight-up Fusion hybrid sporting an EPA combined fuel economy rating of 47 mpg, and there's a plug-in hybrid dubbed the Fusion Energy. The Fusion Energy, with an I, uses its plus-size lithium-ion battery pack to deliver limited electric-only driving before reverting to normal hybrid operation. In its latest incarnation, the hybridized Ford Fusion still suffers from the unnatural-feeling brakes that plague most hybrids, but its near-seamless power delivery easily overshadows any wonkiness when stopping. With numbers ranging from less than $23,000 to nearly $40,000, the Ford Fusion is a mid-priced, mid-sized sedan. At least it is if you don't go nuts with the option sheet. As for resale values, we expect the Fusion to hold its value well, near the top of an intensely competitive category that includes icons like the Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, and Nissan Altima. Oh, and like a billion other cars. You know, it wasn't that long ago when mid-sized American sedans were uncompetitive jokes. Well, the Ford Fusion is no joke. With abundant technology, performance, efficiency, comfort, and style, the Ford Fusion is a serious competitor that charms inside and out.
The Hyundai Accent isn't the newest little car on the block, but it shows that you can stay competitive with consistent updates. Here are 5 reasons to go see what Hyundai's cooking these days. Great fuel economy. The Accent keeps it simple under the hood with a 4-cylinder engine and either a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed automatic. Fuel economy is simply excellent. 38 miles per gallon highway with the manual and 37 miles per gallon with the automatic. Grown-up styling. Both the sedan and hatchback versions of the Accent are more stylish than you'd expect at this price. The grille, headlights, and taillights have all been recently redesigned, and the result is a surprisingly premium vibe. Some economy cars scream cheap when you see them on the street, but the Accent's a classy ride. Adult size space. The Accent's front seats are impressively roomy with ample headroom for 6-footers, while the rear seats are also 6-footer friendly in the outboard positions. As for cargo, the Accent sedan provides an above-average 13.7 cubic foot trunk, while the hatchback's rear seat backs fold down to open up a crossover-like 47.5 cubic feet. Compliant ride. Typically, subcompact cars are known for their pillow-soft rides, but the Accent bucks the trend. Thanks to supple dampers and generous suspension travel, the Accent takes rough pavement in stride. If your commute involves some nasty roads, the Accent's as absorbent as little cars get. Plentiful standard features. Even the base Accent comes with Power Everything, a USB port, and a 6-speaker audio system that sounds pretty solid. If you want more, available features include Bluetooth streaming audio, rear disc brakes, and a sunroof. The Hyundai Accent continues to be a top pick among fellow subcompact competitors. We wouldn't buy a car in this class without sampling the Hyundai first.
Hi, Katie Osborne for Endurance. Like you, I love my car. And we're keeping our cars longer than ever, which means you're probably driving with little or even no warranty coverage. And let's be real, your car's gonna break down sooner or later. Plus, if you're driving with an expired warranty, you will have to pay for those repairs. Do you even realize how much repairs cost these days? Look at these prices. There are so many other things I would rather buy than a new transmission or power steering. Well, to avoid these costs, you need Endurance. What's Endurance? It's an affordable vehicle protection plan that pays for your car repairs. The parts, the labor, it's all included. With Endurance, you will save thousands. Plus, you'll get to choose a mechanic who works on your car. Remember, insurance only protects you in an accident. That's only half the equation. The other half is Endurance, protecting you when your car breaks down. Don't forget, insurance plus endurance equals total protection.
Call 800-887-7919.
If you're going to buy a compact SUV, you have about 13 to choose from. With such a vast field, is there any reason why you would choose a Nissan Rogue instead of, let's say, a Honda CR-V or a Toyota RAV4? Actually, yeah. Unlike nearly every compact SUV, the Rogue can technically seat 7. I say technically because the third row actually offers less headroom than a Scion FRS's minuscule back seat and only about 1.5 inches more legroom. Given the third row's cramped dimensions, the two-row setup is probably the way to go. Not only will you save $940, but you get the divide and hide cargo management system, which does exactly as it's described. There, it divides section. By the way, this is waterproof. You can hide by moving this one up top here. There's actually 18 different configurations. And for long items, you can also flip down the front seat, toss this one down, and lengthy Brits can get comfortable and relax with a manly pose. When not lugging up to 70 cubic feet of cargo, the Rogue makes an excellent people hauler. Headroom is abundant in the first and second rows, as is legroom. The second row also slides and reclines and features a nifty fold-down armrest / pass-through. Standard vents for rear passengers, soft touch points, and nice materials throughout further elevate the smartly conceived cabin. On the road, steering, ride quality, and acceleration are all unexceptional, which isn't really a criticism of the Nissan Rogue. It just happens to occupy that mature space on the spectrum between fun to drive and smooth riding. The most noteworthy aspect about driving the Nissan Rogue is the powertrain. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine makes good, if not class-leading power, but it's paired with a CVT, continuously variable transmission. Nissan's been selling these things for more than a decade, but it still takes a little getting used to the engine revving, lack of traditional gear changes. The upside to that odd operation is strong fuel economy. Adding the $1,300 all-wheel drive system lowers each of those numbers by 1 mpg. Look over your right shoulder and you'll notice a big blind spot, which makes lane changes a little bit dicey. Adjust your mirrors accordingly. If lane change safety is something you're willing to pay for, blind spot monitoring and lane departure warning are both available. In that same vein, the Rogue can also be equipped with one of the most helpful technologies available in a car. With Nissan's Around View monitor, that blind spot's essentially a non-issue. In fact, you could not look outside the vehicle at all and still parallel park quite successfully. Cameras built around the vehicle give you a quasi-bird's eye view of the world outside. Steady, steady. All right, watch the edges. Pulling forward. Ding! Around View monitor makes parking essentially idiot-proof. Other extra cost niceties include an impressively huge panoramic moonroof, navigation with a laggy 7-inch screen, leather upholstery, forward collision alert with automatic collision braking, and something not offered on all compact SUVs, a motion-activated liftgate. Bid restraint adieu, and you can spend nearly $33,000 on a loaded all-wheel drive Rogue SL trim. Choose frugality, and the price for a basic Rogue lands just shy of $24,000, including destination charges, Bluetooth, cruise control, 6 airbags, a 4-speaker audio system with 5-inch display, LED daytime running lights, and a backup camera. For about the same money, you could buy a Mitsubishi Outlander or Dodge Journey, each sporting a fun-sized third row, but neither is as refined as the Rogue. Compared to similarly priced 5-passenger SUVs like the sporty Ford Escape, the reliable Toyota RAV4, and the utterly pragmatic Honda CR-V, the Nissan Rogue is competitively priced, and yet it tends to lag the other three in sales. Compact SUVs sell well for a variety of reasons, but just because something sells well doesn't mean it best meets your needs. If fuel efficiency, vehicle technology, cargo flexibility, and let's say 7-passenger seating fall on your list of must-haves, the Nissan Rogue deserves a spot on your short list.
The Kia Forte is a car that could take Kia to the next level. Kia's been making really good cars for a while now, but they haven't had a big hit in the compact segment until now. Here are 5 reasons to give the Forte your full attention. Sophisticated style. In case you haven't heard, Kia's president used to be Audi's chief designer, and you can definitely see his influence. From every angle, our Forte 5 hatchback looks dynamic and upscale. And check out those 18-inch wheels. They look like they came off a German sports sedan. Fuel economy. Our Forte 5 SX test car has one of the best engines in any compact. The 1.6-liter Turbo 4 pumps out 201 horsepower, and it'll do 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. We also like the sport-tuned SX's capable handling and precise steering. But the 1.6 Turbo still gets a reasonable 24 miles per gallon in mixed driving, including 29 miles per gallon highway. Spacious hatchback. Some small hatchbacks barely have any space in the trunk, but the Forte 5 bucks the trend. There's 23 cubic feet of space back there, which is more than even the largest sedans. And when you fold down the rear seat backs, there's so much room. It's like a miniature SUV. Remarkably low price. Even though it comes packed with features, the Forte 5 is aggressively priced. The base EX model checks at less than $20,000, while the turbocharged SX only costs another $1,000 or so. For the price, you'll be hard-pressed to find comparable performance and luxury anywhere else. 3 available body styles. Although our test car was a hatchback, keep in mind that there are 2 other body styles as well. The Forte Coupe is a sporty 2-door version, and there's also the mainstream Forte sedan. Our favorite is the handy Forte 5, but it's always nice to have options. The Kia Forte just might catapult Kia to the head of the compact class. If you're looking for a small car with style, performance, and value to spare, make sure you give the Forte lineup a try.
For the past 3 years, the Optima has been Kia's bestseller. And now, here at the 2015 New York International Auto Show, Kia is launching its successor, the all-new, completely redesigned 2016 Kia Optima. Inside the Optima will feature a roomier cabin, while adding new premium features previously unavailable in the sedan. It's got newer styling, a longer wheelbase, which means more legroom for you in the back, soft touch materials inside, and the Optima has new Uvo Technology e-services, Google Autoplay and Apple CarPlay. You hook up your smartphone and what's on your phone will show up on the car screen. Kia says to look for 3 different engine options on the Optima. My favorite is a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it's made right here in the USA at Kia's West Point, Georgia assembly plant. Kia's made a lot of changes to the 2016 Optima. One thing that stays the same, though, is its 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. They haven't announced pricing on the new Optima yet, but they do say to keep your eyes open for it in showrooms by the end of the year.
You've heard of health insurance and homeowners insurance and even pet insurance. What about gap insurance? No, it's not coverage for your moderately priced khakis and tasteful sweaters from the mall. It's for your car, more specifically, for the full value of your car. You may be aware that the moment you drive your car off the dealer lot, it loses roughly 10% of its value. And on average, your car will continue to depreciate 15 to 25% each year after that, according to Carfax. But hey, that's the cost of car ownership, right? If anything happens to your car before you have your loan paid off, your comprehensive or collision insurance will replace your ride, right? Not necessarily. If your car is stolen and not recovered, or crashed and declared a total loss, your auto insurance carrier may not wholly make you whole. Instead, they'll reimburse you for the actual cash value of your car, which, remember, has been losing value since it became your car, less your deductible. Because your car may depreciate faster than your car payments reduce your loan balance, then you still may owe thousands of dollars more than that actual cash value your policy pays out. Gap insurance covers this difference so you can catch a ride to the dealership, roll home in your brand new replacement ride, and all you'll be out is your deductible and the time it takes you to reprogram your stereo settings. Esurance estimates you can purchase gap insurance for a few extra bucks a month on your vehicle's policy, or from the dealer for $500 to $1,000. Now, if you own your car outright, gap insurance probably isn't a great investment for you. Feeling lucky? Then take your chances and go without. But if you want to be on the safe side, then as they say in London, mind the gap.
There's a lot of new small sedans on the market right now, and it can be hard to keep them all straight. That's why we appreciate the tried and true Nissan Sentra. Here are 5 reasons why the Sentra still got it after all these years. Comfortable ride. A lot of small sedans are supposedly fun to drive, but let's be honest, most people would rather be comfortable during the morning commute. That's why the Sentra is tuned for compliance. When you hit a rough patch, the Sentra just shrugs it off. It's a relaxing car to ride in. High-end features. The Sentra can also be loaded up with luxuries, if that's what you want. Available features include alloy wheels, keyless entry and ignition, Bluetooth audio, a 5-inch display screen, dual-zone automatic climate control, and leather upholstery. You can even get a Bose audio system via the premium package. Spacious cabin. Nissan has made passenger space a priority, and that's on full display in the Sentra. Front seat occupants have plenty of room, but the real story is in back, where the Sentra can swallow a pair of 6-footers just as capably as a mid-size family sedan. Mature styling. The Sentra looks pretty sophisticated for an economy sedan. Mirroring the Altima and Maxima, it's got aggressive headlights and a curvaceous body with an upscale vibe. Some other small sedans try to cultivate a youthful look, but the Sentra gives you the same mature styling as Nissan's pricier models. Great fuel economy. Fuel efficiency has always been a Sentra signature, but the current model takes it to a new level. With the continuously variable automatic transmission, or CVT, the Sentra delivers 29 miles per gallon in the city and 39 miles per gallon on the highway. That's some of the best fuel economy in this segment. With its attractive pricing and strong heritage, the Sentra is one of the most well-rounded small sedans on the market. Take one for a spin and see if you agree.
Hey, Courtney Hansen here for Endurance. Do you have any idea what a new radiator costs? Or an engine block? Or even a timing belt? This guy's auto warranty has expired, and he could have a hefty bill on his hands, thousands of dollars to get his car up and running again. Or he could have Endurance, in which case he can save a ton of cash. I mean, do you realize what it costs to repair a car these days? And right when your manufacturer warranty runs out is exactly when your car starts to break down. Next thing you know, you have to pay for unexpected repairs out of pocket.
But I have insurance.
Sorry, insurance only covers you when you're in an accident. That's just half the equation. Endurance is the other half, protecting you when your car breaks down, paying for the parts and the labor. You even get to choose the mechanic who fixes your car. Insurance plus endurance equals total protection. You can save thousands.
Protect yourself against the high cost of auto repairs with Endurance. Call right now for a free quote.
The Mazda 3 has always been a perennial favorite among enthusiast outlets. But let's say sporting potential is not your top priority. Is the Mazda 3 still appealing?
Well, do you value a refined interior?
Laudable fuel economy? Good looks inside and out? If you answered yes to any of these, then the answer to the original question is also a yes. Taking a deeper dive inside reveals a cabin that might not be the roomiest in class, but among the best in layout. Case in point, the standard Mazda Connect infotainment system earns its keep as the undisputed champion of relieving multimedia-related driver distraction, assuming you interact with the remote instead of the touchscreen. Surrounding the almighty knob is a clean, upscale cockpit design and quality materials where it matters most, except the knee rest. But there's an easy fix for that, as detailed in the most recent edition of Micah Museo Living. Resting atop that classy dash is a retractable head-up display that projects information onto this tinted plastic panel instead of the windshield, which means you can see it through polarized glasses. On a more practical note, the front seats provide a comparatively high degree of comfort and support for a range of body types, except one, due to their aggressive side bolsters. Out back, the outboard rear seats squeak by with just enough room to earn our seal of approval, while even further back, the trunk offers a suitable amount of space despite trailing dimensionally larger competitors like the Honda Civic and Chevy Cruze by nearly 20%. On the other hand, with 47 cubic feet of total cargo space, the 5-door hatchback is clearly the preferred body style for cargo kings and queens. In fact, it's just a few cubes shy of small crossovers like the Jeep Renegade and Chevy Trax. All this talk about the Mazda 3, and yet we still haven't touched on how it drives. In the areas that matter most to drivers who actually care about driving, the Mazda 3 is just plain great. The steering is more precisely calibrated than some sports cars. In fact, most cars in this class, apart from the Honda Civic, tend to require a fair amount of steering correction on the highway. But the Mazda 3 cruises at speed with the stability of a midsizer. Pitch it hard into a corner, and the tires screech in horror, but the chassis remains remarkably flat. To put it another way, the chassis and suspension far exceed the capabilities of these tires. Beyond the major dynamic contributors are some less obvious elements like a floor-mounted gas pedal, which more accurately follows the arc of your foot, a, perfectly centered driving position, and the linear type of brake feel that makes braking weirdly enjoyable. Equally enjoyable is the standard 2-liter 4-cylinder engine and optional 2.5-liter mill. For those enticed by the 2.5's greater output numbers, just know that they don't exactly translate into greater thrills, as some clever tuning of the base engine makes it feel nearly as spunky as the larger one. Each can be paired with either a 6-speed manual, which might just be the smoothest such gearbox we've ever tested, or a well-sorted 6-speed automatic. Fuel economy is largely a wash between powertrains, with real-world combined fuel economy checking in right around 31 mpg. You might think that with all this sporty talk that the Mazda 3 lacks on-road refinement, but it doesn't. The ride is a bit firm compared to some of its more pedestrian rivals, but so long as the roads you drive aren't littered with man-eating potholes, ride quality is plenty comfortable. Add to that a cabin that's decently well isolated from the rap concert happening in the car next to you, and the Mazda 3 makes for a fine commuting companion. And considering the sedan and hatchback begin just shy of $19,000 and $21,000 respectively, the Mazda 3 also makes for a good buy. Ignore the options sheet completely, and you'll drive away with all the basics, plus 6 airbags, 2 USB ports, Bluetooth connectivity, the sloppy combination of remote keyless entry and push-button start, and the aforementioned 7-inch touch and remote operated infotainment system linked to a backup camera. In our opinion, the best value of the group is an optionless Grand Touring model, which adds automatic headlight control, passive entry, hooray, rain-sensing wipers, heated front seats, a Bose premium audio system, and a power driver's seat that we wish had more than 6 adjustment points. Though, to be fair, at least it features adjustable lumbar support, unlike these two. Dropping $28,000 on a loaded Mazda 3 lands you LED headlights, a heated steering wheel, navigation by TomTom, Mazda's stupidly named IE Loop regenerative braking system, whose $800 price tag will take eons to recoup, as well as active safety technologies like adaptive cruise control, automatic high beams, lane departure assist, and automatic collision braking. So, seeing as the Mazda 3 shares a similar pricing structure with most of the segment, what else should you look at? Aside from the well-rounded Honda Civic and Hyundai Elantra, there's the perennially popular Toyota Corolla and all its black plastic glory, the handsome Ford Focus, just stay away from the dual-clutch transmission, and the only compact car with all-wheel drive, the Subaru Impreza. Then again, forget about all-wheel drive, and the Mazda 3 essentially takes all the best qualities from these cars and combines them into a single package.
And that's all the more reason why the average car buyer shouldn't view the Mazda 3 as this obscure outlier designed only for driving enthusiasts, when in actuality, it's just a well-rounded, affordable compact car that just so happens to be fun to drive.
If you want to go green, the Ford Fusion gives you options. On one hand, you've got the Fusion Hybrid, which gets an amazing 47 miles per gallon in both city and highway driving. But what if you could have a plug-in version with full electric capability? That's where the Fusion Energy comes in, and we've got 5 reasons why it could be the best Fusion yet.
Real-world EV range. The plug-in Energy has a bigger battery pack and electric motor than a typical hybrid, so its EV mode really works. You can drive the Energy as an electric car for about 20 miles per charge, which is enough to get a lot of folks to work. Quick charging times. With its standard 120-volt charge cord, the Fusion Energy needs about 7 hours for a full recharge. So if your workplace has a charging station, you can charge it up while you're on the job. And if you get the optional 240-volt charging station, you'll only need 2.5 hours per charge. Road trip ready. Like the Chevy Volt, the Fusion Energy also has a gas engine that's got your back when the battery pack gives up. That means you don't need a backup car for long road trips. The Fusion Energy can do it all. It's like having 2 cars in one, and the gas engine still gets an impressive 43 miles per gallon. Drives like a Fusion. Aside from its fancy hybrid hardware, the Energy drives just like any other Fusion. That means you get sharp, European-style handling and a smooth, quiet ride. The Fusion Energy can even go 0 to 60 in about 8 seconds. Spacious back seat. Unlike the Volt and Toyota Prius plug-in, the Fusion Energy is a plug-in hybrid with plenty of room for passengers.
The Fusion Energy is the rare plug-in hybrid that's also easy to live with, and that should give it plenty of energy in today's demanding marketplace.